Welcome back to the podcast. Welcome back. Beloved, this is indeed your brother Big VJ checking in, right? Today's conversation, we're going to play a video. And the video that we're going to play for the family is entitled The Truth About Reincarnation Revealed. What You Didn't Know. And this is from our ISUPK family. The name of the platform is Cross the Line Radio, and it can be found on YouTube. And I'm not sure is Cross the Line Radio on other platforms like Spotify, and Google, and etc. Like I'm not sure, right? But the video's like 18, almost 19 minutes long, and we have been inspired to go over this video by one of our brothers, an elder Levi, who wrote a book talking about reincarnation in the Hebrew Israelite perspective. We got the book and we was blown away. Because, beloved, I was raised in the church house, and the information that Elder Levi went over, I have never heard of that in my whole life. So check it out. When you go into the description bar, you're going to see a couple of links. I'm going to put the link to this video that we're going to play in its entirety from our ISUPK family. I'm going to put that link there. And then I'm going to put another link to Amazon where you can go and take a look at the book yourself, because it's a short read. The book is very inexpensive. He made it like $5 or $6, something like that. And it's a short read, man. I think I knocked it out. It could have been no more than 20 minutes. I just went right through it. Bang, 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 bang. Okay. And then it kind of put me in a position where I wanted to know more. You know what I mean? So we made a podcast, I don't know, maybe like a week ago. We spoke about it, but there's no way I could have spoke about it in depth because I don't know anything about it. The way I was raised, again, out of the church house it wasn't no reincarnation kind of like talk, right? The way I came up in the church house, it was like you lived a certain kind of way. You died, you went to Sheol, you went to the grave. And then you kind of like, you was risen up for like a judgment, or they can kind of spin it where you kind of go up in the sky. It's like a rapture kind of deal, I'm guessing. That'd be like the religious verbiage, like a rapture kind of deal. And but before all that, there's some kind of judgment you go through, and then your eternal resting place is chosen after the judgment. You're gonna go to hell. It's a place with a bunch of fire and keep burning, or you go to heaven where you live in, like, you kind of live in paradise, but it's not really specific about what the paradise really looks like. Because honestly now, the way they introduced heaven to me about 10 or 12 years old, it was like, oh, it was almost like church forever. Like, we're going to praise him every day. And when you young and you really honest with yourself when you're young, you be like, man, I don't know if I want to do that. You're like all day, every day, just all like, man, where's the time to have? Because you're thinking about fun. It wasn't until I got around the nation where they gave me a different perspective of heaven, where heaven and hell are manifestations on planet Earth. They're states of being on planet Earth that the human soul experience. It's not nowhere you die and get up and go nowhere, because when you being around the nation, when you hit the grave, it's over with. You go, your memory go, everything goes. You don't come back anymore. It's a wrap. So it's like the heaven and hell. Heaven is just meaning the best of food, the best of transportation. You got a marriage, okay. Heaven is an example of the best relationship pattern for this marriage. It's the best of finances. It's the best of clothing. It's the best of communities, etc. That's heaven. And hell is the worst of. right? You got the worst conditions, the worst of housing, the worst of transportation, the worst of foods. So there's states of being that the human soul. So it's kind of like almost it's two opposite ends of the spectrum. One end is more practical. This is why in the nation they call it the hereafter. After you hear the truth, then you walk thereof. Um, in the church world, it was different. It was like there were really no real activity that you could really do to get to heaven. It's really your belief, and you live in a lifestyle, but it's really your belief in the Messiah that's going to get you over through grace. It ain't nothing you can do specifically to get you there. All right. Now, those are the two ways that I was familiar with heaven and hell in the afterlife. And then there's also concepts when you have marriage as your religion, your family unit becomes a living vessel of reincarnation through your family unit. So in this kind of concept, me, myself, I am nothing more but an extension of life. I'm just my granddad all over again. I'm just my granddad, and my granddad was just his granddad because my great-great-great-grandfather had a set of values and principles that he lived by that he taught his son. And then those same values, was taught to his son, that was taught to his son, that was taught to his son, that was taught to my dad, that was taught to me. So it's kind of like a 360-degree turn of information. It's just a wheel of reincarnation. It's really just one life. We're just living out the lives of our fathers that came before us. And like what my dad taught me, I just teach my sons. I don't got no new value system. Ain't no new ain't no new principles. It's just to walk as a man and to know your calling and your purpose. So my sons is an extension of the wheel. So that's how in the family dynamic we view reincarnation. Not like in the East. I'm talking about like our Hindu brothers and sisters where reincarnation was you die and you come back, you a snail. You die, you come back, now you a turtle. You die, you come back, you an elephant. So it's so many concepts that's out. Even though I was familiar with what I was taught early on, I never knew anything about what the Jews teach. We talking about the small hats, the Heimies, and what our brothers teach. So today, we're going to go over some information from our own brothers, right? And they're going to talk about reincarnation. And again, shout out to everybody that rock with the podcast, that like, that share, that got something going on. If you haven't already, go down to the description bar and hit that link and support the brother Elder Levi. If you're going to watch a movie tonight, right? You're going to watch a movie. There's an app on your television called Tubi. And there's a brother named D Brown, man. That's my brother, D Brown. He's a film producer. He got his hands in a lot of pots, and he got some films on Tubi, right? So if you can check him out, this is how you support another brother in our family line, right? Rose Gold is a film, Dimes is a film, The Other Side is a film, Together is a film. He got some projects on it. So if you could check that out, you'll be supporting the village, right? Also, there's a couple of podcasts that's doing their thing. Unpopular Truth versus Popular Opinion, right? When you get the opportunity, check that out. That's my little cuz. There's a lot of great information on that podcast.
Unpopular Truth versus Popular Opinion, now playing on Spotify.
He's doing his thing, right? There's a lot of powerful information on that podcast. Also, we got another brother that rock with the podcast, our brother KJ. He's doing his thing. He got his own platform, right? So when you get the opportunity, you know what I mean? Because it's all about, it's all about supporting your own, right? So our brother got a podcast called A Different View. And you can find that on Spotify and etc. check it out. And you see what I'm saying? So we just got to support our own. It's very important that we support our own, right? And we look out for our own. And if you got something going on, hit me up on the Instagram, hit me up on the Twitter. Let us know what you got going on so we can support your projects, right? So it's just all love. All right, let's play the video. You know, I don't want to talk too much. You know what I'm saying? Brother TJ Torres say, V, there's a lot of talking, no teaching. But T, listen. Hey, TJ, we can't teach on nothing we don't know. You know what I'm saying? We can talk about a whole lot. We can have conversations about a whole lot, right? Shout out to TJ and our brother Mike. But we can't talk about something that we don't know. We don't have an idea about this reincarnation perspective that our Hebrew Israelite brothers is teaching. And even the small hats is teaching the same thing. We don't know, right? Our brother Jeremy Jackson from Florida, he put up a powerful post as well, comment. And he was saying that he feels as though that there's a connection between lucid dreams, sleep paralysis, false awakening, and reincarnation. I said, damn, that's something to chew on. But I can only chew on it, beloved, because you understand, we can't just teach on something we don't even know nothing about it. You got to take any information that you got to chew on it. You got to, as they say, you know, eat the fish and spit the bones out, right? Shout out to our brother Levi. That's what he had in the book. Eat the fish, eat the meat, and spit the bones out. All right, let's play the video. Let's talk about reincarnation. And then we'll just take it from there. Let's let the video play.
Oh, okay. Right. Yeah, I had a question, man. Actually, never mind. But my question is, where do we go when we pass away? I'm having a tough time understanding. There's so many ideas and so many scriptures that
where do you
people
think
used to reference that. What was that now?
Where do you think we go?
I think we die, go into the ground.
And then, okay, your body goes into the ground. Do you believe we have a soul?
I do.
So where does the soul go? You just you wander around like Casper?
That's my question.
But I'm asking, what do you believe? I'm trying to understand your point of reference so that this way I know what I have to deal with.
I can't really give you, and I don't know what I believe. Like, I honestly, I mean, I can tell you what I've heard, but I haven't put my thumb on any of it and said this is what I believe.
So what sounds the most logical to you out of everything you've heard?
Most logical, I mean, knowing the little bit of scripture I do, is that our bodies go into the ground and our souls go rest with the Lord, or at least praising Him for eternity.
I got you. So here's what happens, right? So your body does go into the ground. Your soul separates from your body and goes to the Most High. You're judged. After you're judged, your soul comes back to earth in a new body. Like what the world calls reincarnation, not in the Hindu sense, not in the you know, like we don't come back as a butterfly or something, you know what I mean? But really more so in the sense of that what Captain Zark was explaining a minute ago. If you see a baby and it says that you know, it's an old soul, why? Because he's been here before. We recycle back into the earth. You know what I'm saying? Judgment takes place on the earth. Heaven and hell are on the earth, and those are conditions. Heaven is rulership of the planet Earth. Hell is a low estate on the planet Earth. Hell for us is being in captivity for this amount of time, growing up in the ghettos, not knowing our fathers, mothers. You know what I'm saying? Like our people's dying in the drug game, XYZ. You know what I'm saying? Like the fact that we're on the bottom of every socioeconomic ladder in the world, the oppression, police brutality. You know what I'm saying? How we're always on the wrong side or for a lack of justice. That's hell. You know what I'm saying? So what happens is we recycle in the earth. We continue to come back. Matter of fact, everything recycles in the earth. So I'll give you an example.
All right, partner interjection. You know, Brother Joe rules is in effect. I have to say something every so often because this is fair use, right? I have never heard of this position in all of my days. This is new to me, beloved. So we're walking this walk together, right? But I'm going to let the video play.
Example.
Okay.
And most people never read this, and it's extremely interesting to me how clear it is. But
Okay.
I'm going to go to Ecclesiastes, and I'm going to start at the first chapter, right? So roll with me for a second. This is Ecclesiastes 1 and 4. It says, "One generation passeth away, and another generation cometh, but the earth abideth forever." I'm going to come back to that verse because I want you to see the pattern that's happening inside this verse. "The sun also ariseth, and the sun goeth down, and hasteneth to his place where he arose." So when the sun sets and the sun comes back up, is it a different sun or the same sun?
Same sun.
All right, let's keep going. "The wind goeth toward the south and turneth about unto the north. It whirleth about continually, and the wind returneth again according to his circuits." You understand? Meaning that this breeze that you felt goes through a circuit in the earth, and then eventually it comes back. So is it a different breeze? Is it a different wind? Or is it all the same wind on the earth, just recycled?
It's the same wind circulating, like you said.
Let's keep going. "All the rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full. Onto the place whence the rivers come, thither they return again." So it dumps out into the rivers come down all through their basins, and then they dump out into the ocean, and the water recycles. So you see the pattern of everything that we read, that everything is the same. So now, what was the first one that we read?
Ecclesiastes 1 and 4.
And 1 and 4 says, "One generation passeth away, and another generation cometh." You know what that means?
Same people.
Comes back.
The generation that was before is the generation that comes back. Just like the water, just like the wind, because we recycle in the earth. Let's take it a step further. I'm going to go to verse 8. "All things are full of labor, man cannot utter it. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing. The thing that hath been is that which shall be. All of the above is the thing that was that shall be." Whether it was the wind, whether it was the water, whether it's the generations of people. Hey, pardon
the interjection. I'm gonna tell you something this is really wild and bugged out. When you look at Brother Elder Levi book, he uses this exact same example. This is why I picked this video. Talk about reincarnation, because Brother Levi is kind of eerie. He says he used the same example in his book. So I was thinking, like, all the Hebrews, I don't know if they all got to be taught like the same thing. That kind of like, I get that part, but I never heard of nothing like this. That's what blew me. From one elder, the elder used in his book, beloved, listen to me. He uses the exact same examples that they use in this video. And he breaks it down like the exact same way. It's just in the book. But he's just saying it on a format through audio. And I'm like, yo, like, where have I been? This is a school of thought that's moving around in our village now. So I'm like, again, I'm learning like you learning, party interjection, Brother Joe rules are in effect, so we're gonna let the video keep playing.
And there is no new thing under the sun. So now what people usually fail to realize is that no new thing under the sun, this is specifically speaking about people, though. How do we know? "Is there anything whereof it may be say, see, this is new? It hath already been of old times, which was us before. There is no remembrance of former things." This is also why when we come back in the earth, we don't remember our former life. There is no remembrance. Everything recycles, everything resets. "Neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come, with those that shall come after, because that's the cycle in the earth. So now if we were to go to, I want to say it's Ecclesiastes 6, and now remember, right? So there was something that had been named in that verse, right?
Okay.
So in Ecclesiastes 6 is building on the points of the previous chapters. I'm in Ecclesiastes 6 and 10. And it says, that which hath been, what hath been? Remember, we were talking about man, generations.
Correct.
Is named already. Well, if that which has been is named already, what is it? And it is known that it is man. You understand? Man is what hath been, man is what will be again. We recycle in the earth. There is no remembrance. The generations recycle, the water recycles, the winds recycles, and our souls recycle into different bodies.
That's crazy.
Okay. That makes sense.
It does, don't it?
It's clicking.
Amazing. Now let me show you. You know what I'm saying? The in between time. So this is, I'm going to go. So we read chapter 1, we read chapter 6. I'm going to go to chapter 3. So when I read chapter 3, it's going to say, I'm going to start at verse 15. That which hath been is now. So remember, what was it that hath been? It's named already. What is it according to what we read? Everything. Specifically, what have we been talking about? It said it's named already. What was named already?
My bad.
No sweat. This is a little rough one. You know what I'm saying? It's man. So man hath been, and that which hath been is now, meaning what? It's back already. And that which is to be hath already been. So that's here now hath already been. What is it? Man. Why? Because man recycles. And God requireth that which is past, meaning what? God requires what you've done in your past. And why is that? Verse 16. And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment. What's under the sun?
Man, everything that says nothing new, nothing that hasn't already been.
Well, man, that's correct. But the earth is under the sun, which means,
I got it.
Right. So, and moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment. Where does judgment take place?
On the earth.
So, where do you get judged for what you do in your life?
On earth.
On earth. And I'm going to show you one more example why. This is John 9:1, just to show you that Christ taught this.
I think you're right.
No,
you said First John?
This is John. Book of John. So this is John 9:1, and it says, and Jesus passed by, he saw a man which was blind from his birth.
Yeah.
So now this man was born blind, and his
Yo, pardon the interjection. I gotta pull that book. I got that book on my Kindle, right? Shout out to brother Levi. I got the book on you. I think he used this example too. I'm pretty sure the man blind from birth. Did he use this example? I'm pretty sure he used this example too. And I have never heard it quite this way. But this is a very, very interesting position and or concept. If I can get a brother that's a Hebrew Israelite to maybe come on the show, if I can get Elder Levi or another brother, this is kind of interesting to me. I have never heard it like this. Just coming back, recycling on the planet. Because dig, check this out, because I got to put this on the table, and I believe I said this before on the previous podcast. You see, when I came up in the church house, the position that we took was kind of based on, all right, look, the son of Mary, he makes a statement, and it was a woman. She was married a bunch of times, man. I don't know how many, I can't recall. But the question was asked, okay, when everybody dies, whose wife would she be in the kingdom? And if I'm not mistaken, right, 'cause I'm just paraphrasing, the answer was something to the extent of, well, she not gonna be nobody wife because there is no marriages and like that in the kingdom, something like that. Okay, so that's how I always viewed, life after death, like angelic, celestial, and that's a concept. And I'm always interested. Uh, I'm always interested in learning different people's concepts about the same position. Like, okay, this is their concept on this position. This is their, and this reincarnation concept that the Hebrew Israelites put on the table, along with the small hats. The small hats got the same view. That I was kind of like, because I thought this was only exclusive to them first. Because I'm looking at the brother, I'm like, okay, this is a brother, he followed the podcast, and it's a lot of our Hebrew Israelite brothers that rock with the podcast right out of the village, right? So I'm taking a look, and I'm like, okay, maybe this is independent to him, and this is what they believe as in these camps. And then you start to, just check out other platforms, and now you listen to the small hats, and they're saying the exact same thing. You think to yourself, well, how did I miss this? Like, how did this? Because we don't say nothing like this at the church house. One book, and it's a whole lot of faiths and concepts out of one book. But part of the interjection, right? Pastor Joe rules are in effect. But for fair use, I got to come in every now and then and say something. So we'll let it keep rocking.
His disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Let's go in reverse order. We know that the scripture says the sins of the father are passed down even to the third or fourth generation. So what you do could affect your children, much like David and Bathsheba. David and Bathsheba's child died because of their sin and adultery. You with me?
I'm with you. Is that what iniquity is? Paying for the consequence of sin?
Right. Meaning iniquity is wickedness. You know what I'm saying? So
okay. Yeah.
So iniquity is all of that tallied up, and now, based off your iniquity, you get judged. So now they're asking, did this parent sin or did this man? Well, let me ask you something. He was born blind. So
right.
Could he have sinned in the womb? What could he have done to have been born blind? Maybe it's because that which hath been is named already, and that is which shall be, because judgment takes place under the sun. So that's an option. But Christ takes it a step further. He says, well, you know what? In this instance, it's neither one of them. He doesn't say they're wrong. He doesn't dismiss it. Both of them are possibilities. In this instance, though, this man was born blind just so God's power could be made manifest through Christ. Now let you know how gangsta God is, that this man was born blind just so you understand that might could be flexed and his name could be glorified in the earth. So there's really three options. You could be in that condition for God to be glorified. You could be in that condition because your parents did something wrong. You know what I'm saying? Maybe your mama was high while you were in the womb. Who knows? Or because of what you did in a past life, because judgment takes place where?
On earth.
Under the sun.
Under the sun. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Can I ask one quick question that has everything to do with what I was asking? In the Bible, I know you said heaven and hell are a condition, the condition that we're in. So when the Bible speaks on like Sheol, Hades, Gehenna, hell, is that all the same thing?
No, those would all be depending on the context, right? So Sheol is really the grave. And Sheol is a grave for sinners. So like if somebody was prominent, right? Like you ever hear of a sepulcher?
Say that again?
You ever hear of a sepulcher?
I heard of it, but I don't know what it is.
So think of like a mausoleum or like, you understand, an elaborate grave. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like you would put your loved ones in a sepulcher because you cared about them. You're honoring the dead. You're giving them a proper burial. Sheol is like, you were buried up to your neck. You know what I'm saying? They stoned you at the gate, and now they're just kicking dirt on you and moving on with your life. You know what I'm saying? You just in a pit. You in an open grave because they're not caring about your burial. They're finding some hole to dump you in and move on.
Mm.
Okay.
So Sheol became synonymous with judgment, because if you were a sinner, where would you be cast?
Right there in Sheol.
Out.
To Sheol.
Facts.
You understand? Now Gehenna is more so talking about fire. You know what I'm saying? But the scripture says that the Lord's anger is kindled like a fire. Like, listen to how we talk, right? Like if I say, yo, son, I'm hot right now, this nigga got me heated. What am I talking about?
Man, I'm angry.
I'm angry. Well, guess what? The Lord says his anger is kindled as a fire. So you want to talk about the flames of hell? That's the Lord's anger in judgment. And where did the Lord judge us? Where are we going through all this hell? Where are we going through all this turmoil? Right here on
Under
earth.
the sun.
You understand?
Yes,
So when you see things about Gehenna, depending on the context, it's going to let you know if this is the Lord's anger, fire, and wrath, if this is the grave, if this is judgment that's coming to you, or if it's the physical lake of fire, which is going to be America, which is going to be Babylon. You know what I'm saying? That's when judgment comes. After the Third World War, Christ cracks that sky and the angels turn this place upside down. So depending on the context, is going to let you know what it is. So you would have to get a specific scripture, but those are the various contexts that those words can be.
Okay, that includes Hades and all that. Okay.
Right, and remember, the reason why people get jammed up is because, you know what I'm saying, Hades and the whole notion of underground comes from the Greeks. Now, the New Testament was written in Greek, but who was it written by? It was written by Hebrew Israelites, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the cultural lens for you to understand the context would have to come from Hebrew culture. You know what I'm saying? Much like you got English and Ebonics, right? So it's like if I say, you know what I'm saying, like, yo, I need this chicken, I need this bread, I need this cheese. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like guap, so on and so forth. Everything I just said is money.
Right.
Now, if you go in and and I say chicken, it's gonna be poultry. If I say bread, it's gonna be wheat, baked goods. If I say cheese, it's gonna be dairy. But to us, all of those words could be currency. You understand?
Right. Yeah.
So when you reading in the Greek, we have to reference the Hebrew culture, otherwise we'll be lost. Like, for example, when you read about the mark of the beast, everybody always takes the word mark literal, but they never take the word beast literal. They know beast is talking about a man, but the word for beast in that is a literal animal. Why is it that they don't believe it's a literal animal? Because that's not how Hebrews spoke. So people allow the cultural barrier of Greek to blind them when we've been speaking in Ebonics, even in the Bible. So you want to always reference, yes, and that's what jams everybody up. So you want to always reference it back to the cultural lens of the Israelites. Greek is Western culture, but it's an Eastern speaking people or an Eastern cultured people utilizing the language.
So you always got to bring it back to the Hebrew culture to understand things that was written in other places about Hebrew culture.
Exactly, because otherwise you're going to get jammed up. This is why people think snakes can talk, because they don't understand that a snake is just somebody you can't trust. And we do this today. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you call a snitch? A rat.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like what did the Lord call us? Sheep, the lost sheep.
Yep.
What did he call the heathen? The beast of the field. But there was one that was the most subtle beast of the field, because what do you call someone you can't trust? A snake. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So this wasn't, this wasn't a snake. You know what I'm saying? This wasn't, it's not a Harry Potter film. My son reading the books right now. This ain't Lord Voldemort. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was a man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But his attributes, he moves like a snake. You cannot trust him. So we can't base our understanding off of the West, because the West is so literal. Like, even when you look at us today, opposites could be the same. I tell this story all the time. I remember when I was in college, right? I used to live with two brothers.
All right, beloved, we're gonna leave it there. It's only like a couple of more minutes to the video, and he's not talking about reincarnation anymore. He's gonna give some examples of some wordplay, right? So listen, first things first, shout out to the ISUPK, right? Shout out to the General Johanna and a couple of brothers on the panel, with just in particular the one on the left who's doing the teaching. Shout out to him. Shout out to Cross the Line Radio. And yeah, man, shout out again to our brother Elder Levi, man, who got us on this reincarnation kick for a little while. And beloved, it's interesting, just to hear a new concept. Like, it is interesting, right? Leaving, being judged, forgetting who you are totally, and coming back into the earth in a new body. That's pretty interesting. And the Jews, right? They teach the same thing. So, beloved, we're going to leave it there. We're going to leave it there. We are going to leave it there. If you have any questions or comments, put them in the comment bar, because I'm thinking of some questions myself. And the next time I get the elder on the jack, I'm going to ask him some of these biblical questions about this reincarnation teaching, right? So, just a little curious. I want to know more. You know what I mean? Peace and black power to your family. Yes. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you guys for hanging out. Beloved, this is indeed Real Black Content Informed Podcast. Hey, man, it's your brother V, man. I'm getting with you guys later. Peace, peace, beloved, and more peace.
Thanks for listening. Remember to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Google, Anchor, Spotify, and Facebook. Also, don't forget to like, share, and comment on the podcast. Your opinion of what you just heard is important to the platform. So yes, beloved, your comments are the engine and fuel to the machine. Stay blessed and have a powerful day.